Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings for Tuesday, December the 13th. Now we do have a smaller Tuesday slate, just a 5-gamer for tonight, but we're still going to go game by game, guys. We're going to talk through each one of these 5 games. I'm going to give you guys my quick early thoughts on the slate, what I do like, taking a first look on Monday night. Before we do get started with the breakdown though, as always, if you guys do enjoy these DFS videos, if they help you out, please hit that like button down below. I do always appreciate the likes. If you have not yet, hit that subscribe button as well. And if you guys are new to the channel, check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a player prop based DFS site. Sure, most of you guys have heard about PrizePicks, but if you haven't checked them out yet and you want to sign up, make sure to sign up with my promo code Noah. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And like I said, PrizePicks is a player prop site, so you're just taking more or less on a player's projection. Obviously, not really much is posted on their board right now because I'm making this video on Monday night, so they only have Sixers props up right now. But you check the board again sometime on Tuesday. You'll see their full board posted. Later Tuesday afternoon, you can see their props they have for every game, and you see anything that stands out to you. If there's a prop you like, you take more or less. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 6 picks. You can win up to 25x your money on PrizePicks. You can also mix and match sports, and PrizePicks does offer a ton of other sports outside of just NBA. So definitely check them out, guys. Make sure to sign up with that promo code Noah, or just click the link in the description, and you will get a deposit bonus when you do sign up. But let's go ahead and talk through Tuesday's 5-game slate. We'll start off with the first game of the night, the Kings and the Sixers. Do have some injury news to monitor in this one. Really, the big injury news here is De'Aaron Fox. He's currently listed as questionable. I believe De'Aaron Fox has missed the last 2 or 3 games for the Kings. And we've seen Davion Mitchell start in place of De'Aaron Fox. Now, we'll talk about Davion Mitchell when we get there. But starting off with the Sixers, I think for the Sixers, it's pretty cut and dry here. You got James Harden back now, playing his full minutes, back to full strength. Joel Embiid's been absolutely dominating as of late. Had a huge game against the Hornets recently, put up 53 points, 76 Draftkings points. Obviously, on a short slate like this, only 5 games, I think Embiid is clearly in play. When you're looking at some of the other stud options on this slate, you do have Giannis going up against the Warriors. You have Anthony Davis going up against the Celtics. Tatum going up against the Lakers. There's a lot of guys to pay up for today, even with it being kind of a shorter slate. I wouldn't say that Embiid's my favorite spin. I think I would probably rather go to Giannis if I could, but it's definitely close between the two. I think Embiid is playing really well right now. His usage is sky high, and even with Harden back, that really hasn't affected Embiid at all. He's still been posting monster numbers. And going up against Sabonis, I think it's a matchup Embiid can easily succeed in. So I'm fine going to Embiid today. Harden's price tag is up a little bit. He was pretty cheap the other day against the Lakers. He was $8,900. He projected really well that day. The price tag's up to $9,700 now, so I don't think Harden looks as good at $9,700, but he's still a viable option. I mean, Harden's got triple-double upside. He almost had a triple-double against Charlotte. He's the guy that can contribute in all categories. We have seen kind of a lower floor from Harden, playing with Embiid. Obviously, the chance for him to put up 40 DraftKings points is always there, but he does still offer 55, 60 point upside. So, Harden's fine. I don't consider him a standout play though. Sabonis in this matchup against Embiid, I'm not in love with. I definitely worry about foul trouble here for Sabonis. We've seen Sabonis have an issue with fouls this season. He's been doing better as of late, staying out of foul trouble. But this is not a matchup that I'm in love with. I think if De'Aaron Fox were to sit again, Sabonis would be okay, but I wouldn't be prioritizing him today, I don't think. Then Fox, if he plays, he's only $8,300. That does feel a little bit too cheap for De'Aaron Fox. As a mid-range option, I think he's okay, but I don't love this matchup against the Sixers. The Sixers play at a really slow pace. So, honestly, for the Kings, there's really not much I like on the Kings today. The only guys I would consider here is if De'Aaron Fox gets ruled out, you could take a shot on Sabonis, take a shot on Kevin Huerter. Maybe you go to Harrison Barnes. Do want to mention Davion Mitchell has been starting lately in place of De'Aaron Fox. He's really not been playing that well, though. The last 2 games he has started, he's played just 33 and 25 minutes, and he's not been very productive either, just 21 and 15 DraftKings points. The price tag's also coming up on Davion Mitchell, so even if De'Aaron Fox gets ruled out today, I don't think that I would be just jamming in Davion Mitchell. I think he would be a solid value, but I don't think he'd be a free square, a guy that you just have to play. I think he definitely is fadeable. But did want to mention him as a value if, De'Aaron Fox were to get ruled out. But the rest of this game, Harris and Melton, these guys don't really stand out to me. I know Melton had a really good game recently, but with Harden back, I'm not super interested in Melton anymore. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game, the Warriors and the Bucks. This should be a really fun one to watch. We'll start off on the Bucks side. So with Milwaukee today, big injury news to keep an eye on here is Drew Holiday, listed as questionable with an illness. So with Drew Holiday questionable, clearly I think the biggest beneficiaries if Holiday gets ruled out are going to be Giannis and Chris Middleton. Giannis is 11,900. Like I mentioned, I think he's probably my favorite pay-up option on this slate right now. We know Giannis just has massive upside. We know he has a massive floor. We've kind of seen some floor games from Giannis lately, but the chance for him to put up 65, 70 DraftKings points is always there. You look at this matchup against Golden State, and Golden State's not a bad defensive team, but they have struggled a lot more defensively this year than previous seasons. Going up against Kevon Looney and Draymond Green, those guys are good defenders, but Giannis is matchup proof. The Warriors play at a really fast pace. I think this is a spot that Giannis can definitely have success in, and obviously he would have to take on an even bigger role if Drew Holiday got ruled out. So, especially if Drew Holiday gets ruled out, I think Giannis is, really good play today. I think Chris Middleton at only 6K looks really good. Middleton, he's probably not going to play huge minutes. He got injured last game against Houston. Don't even want to look too much into that one. The last competitive game he played in against Dallas, he played 31 minutes. I would think that's probably what we get today from Middleton, 31, 32, 33 minutes. I think, the chance for him to play 38 minutes is probably not going to happen. But obviously, he would have to take on a bigger role as well if Drew Holiday got ruled out. I think even if Drew plays, I think 6K for Middleton looks pretty solid. I know Middleton's not a guy that I typically play often, but this price tag definitely feels a little bit too low. He seems to be fully healthy. He's probable, so he's expected back for today. That injury he suffered against Houston doesn't seem like it's really a major injury at all, given that he's probable and expected to play today. So I'm definitely interested in Middleton at 6K. Would like Middleton even more if Drew Holiday got ruled out. And then the rest of the Bucks, the only other guys that I'll mention is, if Drew Holiday gets ruled out, slightly more interest in guys like Lopez and Portis, although their roles I don't think change too much. We could get some value here. I assume Javon Carter would start in place of Drew. Now, Javon Carter, he's had some really good games this season, but a lot of his good games have come with Giannis out, with Drew out, with Middleton out. Playing with Giannis, playing with Middleton, Javon Carter's not going to be nearly as productive on a per-minute basis. But he is only 3,300. They probably want his defense out there to guard Steph if he were to start. So if Drew Holiday gets ruled out and Javon Carter starts, I think at 3,300 he will be in consideration for a value play. We'll have to wait and see what other value we get today. But I'd be interested in Carter if he does start. And then on the other side with Golden State. So Golden State's not a team I love today. It's definitely a tough matchup against Milwaukee, who's been a really good defensive team this season. I will say the matchup for a guy like Steph Curry definitely gets a little bit better if Drew sits. But Javon Carter's a good defender, so I don't think it's the best spot for Steph. But Steph is matchup proof. He can win in any matchup. I think on this slate though, I'd rather go to Giannis. I'd rather go to Embiid. Don't really see myself prioritizing Steph today. He's just kind of a GPP option. Klay Thompson, we've seen Klay have some big ceiling games lately, but I think 6,800. Don't love Klay on this slate. I think he's priced appropriately. Obviously, Klay and Curry, though, are having to take on slightly bigger roles right now without Andrew Wiggins. Jordan Poole should continue to start while Wiggins is out. 6,400, he feels priced about right, but his price tag did come down a little bit. Last slate he was 7,100. Today he's 6,400. I'm fine going to Poole. I think his ceiling with playing with Steph and Klay is just not nearly as high. But Poole's one of these guys that can get really hot, and when he does get hot, he can have big games. He's going to play more minutes without Wiggins. So, Poole's okay. Draymond is 6K. He's an okay option. It seems like Draymond does play well in these, big-time games. I thought that was going to be the case last game against Boston, but he really struggled. Draymond's one of these guys that can do everything when he's on the floor. Score, rebound, get assists, get defensive stats. He's got triple-double upside. We haven't seen, a big ceiling from Draymond this season, but he can occasionally have those games where he gets you, 40, 45 DK points. This should be a competitive game. They're going to want Draymond out there for his defense against Giannis, I'm sure. So, Draymond's got a chance to play, really big minutes here. The 6K price tag doesn't make him stand out, but he's playable. That's really it, though, from the Warriors. I don't think I'm considering anyone else on this team. So, let's move on to the next game, the Suns and the Rockets. And this one looks pretty appealing, especially on the Phoenix side. So, for Phoenix today, they're once again going to be without Devin Booker. I believe this is his second game that he's missed. So without Devin Booker, that's going to really benefit everyone. More DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Chris Paul. These guys are all going to have to take on bigger roles. I think Ayton at 7,200 feels priced about right, but he's had some really big games lately without Booker. 49 and 53 DraftKings points. He's been really aggressive on the offensive end. They've been feeding him the ball. 15 shot attempts, 18 shot attempts. Matchup against Houston, I think, is pretty solid here for Ayton, so I'm definitely interested in DeAndre Ayton today. Chris Paul is the thumbnail for today. I think Chris Paul just way too cheap at 6,200. I know he was pretty bad last game against the Pelicans, only 26 DK points in 34 minutes, but He's fully healthy right now. He's played 34 minutes in back-to-back games. I think if this game's close, which it should be, we're probably going to get like 33, 34 minutes from CP3. And he is, his upside is much higher without Devin Booker. He should be able to be a little bit more aggressive offensively. Chris Paul's not known to be like a great scorer, but I think without Booker, he's just going to have to take on a bigger offensive role. We obviously know Chris Paul can rack up a ton of assists. He's a decent rebounding guard. He's got upside here, and the price tag is just way too low. So I think Chris Paul's, right now looks like one of the better plays on the slate. I assume he'll be popular today, but he's a really good option. I think Mikal Bridges is going to have to take on a bigger role. We see Mikal Bridges be solid these last few games, especially last game against the Pelicans. Game did go to overtime, but even in regulation, Mikal Bridges played 40 minutes, had 43 Draftkings points. He's another guy that we haven't seen him have these huge scoring games, but he can randomly pop off at times. And obviously, last game was kind of a big game for him. I think Mikal Bridges is a really underrated scorer. I think he's a guy that can, put the ball in the basket. And without Booker, there's these guys are gonna have to put the ball in the basket. So I think we could see another big scoring game from Mikal Bridges here. Obviously, the matchup's really, really good. So even at 6,100, he's not a guy that I really play that often, but I'm definitely interested in Mikal Bridges today. And then the rest of Phoenix. So last game they did start Dario Saric in place of Devin Booker, and then Torrey Craig remained in the starting lineup. Craig played good minutes, 36 minutes. He's been getting pretty solid minutes as a starter. Don't know if his role changes too much, with Booker out. I mean, Craig's not he's not a very, high usage player. He doesn't take a lot of shots, but he's an okay value today. And then, like I mentioned, Dario Saric did start last game for Booker. He didn't really play much though. He only played 21 minutes. I think even if Saric starts again today, I'm not super interested in him. We did see Damian Lee get a lot of run off the bench. He played 34 minutes. If I was going to take a shot on someone from Phoenix, as a value, I think Lee might be my favorite. He seems like the guy that, probably gets most of the minutes here without Booker. And Damian Lee, he's never been a great per-minute producer, but he can, knock down threes. He's a decent shooter. It's a good matchup against a, bad Rockets defense that plays fast. So I'm okay taking a shot on Damian Lee here as a value. Probably not going to get to anything else, though, on Phoenix. Cameron Payne feels pretty cheap, but he only played 24 minutes last game. It doesn't seem like they really want to play him and Paul together much. And obviously, without Booker, you would think there'd be more usage available for a guy like Payne. But if he's only going to play 20, 24 minutes, it's really hard to consider him a great option. I think he really benefits when Paul's out. When Booker's out, it doesn't seem to really impact Payne that much. So that's really it for the Phoenix side. Now looking at Houston today, the guards here, Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, both of them are viable today. I don't think either one stand out as priority plays, but Kevin Porter Jr., we know is going to play big minutes in competitive games. He's going to have a good usage rate. He should be really productive or relatively productive on a per-minute basis. The price tag isn't too high. I think Kevin Porter Jr. is fine. I think Jalen Green's fine at 7K. We've seen Green have a big ceiling this season. He's a guy that can be aggressive offensively. He'll take a lot of shots. It just comes down to whether he shoots the ball well or not. Obviously, he's had some very poor shooting games lately, but you look at the games where he does shoot the ball well, 41 DK points, 30 or 43 DK points. Even against Phoenix, he took 24 shots, 41 DK points. I think Jalen Green's viable here as well. Him and KPJ I have a little bit of interest in. Şengün at 5,800 does feel a little bit too cheap. Minutes have not been super high as of late, and I don't love this matchup going up against Ayton, but we know Şengün's a guy that can produce when he gets minutes. The price tag's not that bad. 5,800 is definitely cheap for a guy like Şengün who has the good point per minute upside that he does. So Şengün's okay. The rest of this game though, I'm probably off of Jabari Smith. I know he's had some good games lately. 5,300, he feels priced about right. Not a guy that has a really massive ceiling, but he's playable. Pretty much it though. I don't think I really look into anything else here. So let's move on to the next game. Talk about the Pelicans and the Jazz. So looking at the Pelicans today, they're once again going to be without Brandon Ingram. Starting off with Zion. Zion, he should continue to have a really, really big role without Brandon Ingram. We've seen him be very, very productive. These, without Ingram over their last 7 games. He's got 50 plus Draftkings points in six out of his last 7 games. He's just been producing at such a high rate. He's been playing really, really big minutes. The Jazz, I don't think this is a bad matchup for Zion at all. The Jazz specifically have really struggled against bigs, forwards and centers, and I think obviously this is a matchup Zion can have success in. The price tag feels about right. I think that will keep his ownership low though, so I'm interested in Zion for GPPs. I think CJ McCollum looks really good at 6,900. He's another mid-range guard option that just stands out as being way too cheap. We saw McCollum kind of struggle his first few games back from from his illness, but lately he's been good. 33 minutes against Phoenix, 36 DK points. Last game went to overtime. McCollum played 40 minutes in regulation, so he seems to be good, to play his normal minutes. 49 DK points. He's been more aggressive offensively. He's been starting to knock down shots. This price tag is definitely way too low for a fully healthy CJ McCollum playing without Brandon Ingram. So I really like McCollum today. He's probably my favorite play overall on the Pelicans. The rest of the Pelicans, the one guy I'll mention is J-Val, just because Utah has really struggled against centers this season, and we've seen centers have big games against the Jazz. The issue with J-Val is his minutes are just all over the place. Now, last game, he was in foul trouble. He did have 5 fouls in 18 minutes. The 2 games prior to that, he played 28 and 28 minutes. If you told me we're getting 28 minutes from J-Val tonight, I would actually be pretty interested in him at 5,600. Is it a guarantee that we get 28 minutes? Obviously not. I mean, J-Val could play like 15 minutes today, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I think the matchup is very favorable that, if J-Val does get the minutes, he's got upside here. I would include him in my GPP player pool. Probably not a guy you're playing like in cash games or anything, but for tournaments, he's definitely in consideration. And that's probably it for the Pelicans. Now, looking at the Utah side, Utah's kind of been banged up lately, but they're getting a lot of their guys back today. Markkanen is back. Jordan Clarkson sat out last game. He's going to be back. Mike Conley's going to be back as well. So with the Jazz pretty much fully healthy, they're still missing Colin Sexton, but outside of that, they pretty much got everyone. So don't love much on Utah. I think Lauri Markkanen feels priced about right. Jordan Clarkson, especially with Conley back, I'm not super interested in. Olynyk, Beasley, these guys don't really stand out. Conley's kind of cheap. He's 5,400. His first game back from injury, he did come off the bench and played 25 minutes. I assume he'll be back in the starting lineup today. So, if Conley starts and he's not on a minutes limit, he's probably my favorite play on Utah. If I had to play anyone here, this price tag definitely feels a little bit too low for Conley. But the Jazz are one of the least appealing teams today. I don't see too much I really like on Utah outside of maybe Conley. So that's it for that game. Let's go ahead and talk about the last game of the night, the late night hammer, the Celtics and the Lakers. This should be a fun one to watch. I'm excited to see how my Lakers play here in a big time game against a really good team. Lakers have been on a pretty good run lately. I know they lost to the Sixers in that overtime game, which was a tough loss. But I'm excited to see how they play against a good team like the Celtics. So we'll start off with the Lakers. I think for the Lakers today, it's pretty simple. Usually it's always going to be the case like this. When Anthony Davis and LeBron are healthy, I just really don't consider any other Lakers. Even Westbrook, even though he's been better lately, the $6,700 price tag does not make him look like that great of an option, especially with LeBron and AD in. The rest of the Lakers, other guys like Lonnie Walker, Dennis Schroeder, I'm not considering anyone else on this team, but LeBron and AD, I think they're viable tournament plays. Neither one are priorities for me. Rather get up to Giannis, rather get up to Joel Embiid. Between them or like Steph, I think I might take the Lakers guys over Steph, but that's definitely close. I will say that this matchup for AD I think is fine. I mean, so the Celtics haven't been as strong with their interior defense this year, and they've also they've been missing Al Horford. He was out he was out Monday. We'll have to see if he plays here. It's a back-to-back. I'm guessing. Okay, so he's been out for personal reasons, I assume. It looks like he's expected to be back on Friday, so Horford won't be playing today, and I don't think Robert Williams is quite ready to be back yet. We'll have to wait and see. Williams is going to return at some point, but I don't know if it'll be this game. So, man, if the Celtics are going to be missing Al Horford and Robert Williams, that probably means that Blake Griffin will start at center again. And if Blake Griffin's going to be the one matching up with Anthony Davis, I mean, I'm totally fine targeting that spot. I think this is definitely a matchup AD can excel in. So between AD or LeBron, I know there's a big discount between the two, but I think I'd give the edge to AD today if I had to pick one of the two. But LeBron is coming in at only 9,800. I mean, LeBron hasn't showed a massive ceiling this year, but he's got such a high floor. I mean, he's a guy that just does everything when he's on the floor. A bad game from LeBron is 45 DraftKings points. We haven't really gotten a ton of 60-plus point games from him, but that floor is always solid. That always makes him a viable option, but I definitely think this matchup sets up better for Anthony Davis. I probably would rather go to him. And then on the Celtics side, you have Jason Tatum coming in at 11K. Jason Tatum's really expensive for today, but I definitely think this is a good spot for him. The Lakers have been playing fast this year. They haven't been terrible defensively, but Tatum's been kind of struggling lately. I would expect him to probably get going here. We'll have to see how he plays Monday night. The Celtics are on a back-to-back, so I do want to mention that. We'll have to see how Tatum plays Monday, but last 2 games against Golden State and Phoenix, he's really struggled. Expect him to play well here against a pretty good game environment. This should be a relatively high-scoring game, and this is obviously a big-time game, national TV. I think Tatum is fine. I probably would rather get up to Embiid and Giannis, but Tatum's viable here. I don't hate him. I think he is playable. I think Jaylen Brown's playable. Don't love the price tag, but he's an okay option. Marcus Smart at 5,900. He feels like a fine play. I will say that I think if he's going to be guarding Russell Westbrook, that's a really good like steals opportunity for Marcus Smart. Don't know for like DFS if that really matters, but honestly, if there's like a steals and blocks prop for Marcus Smart today, I definitely would be looking at that, because I think if Smart's going to be guarding Westbrook, with how much Westbrook will turn the ball over, this could be one of those games where Smart gets like 4 or 5 steals or something. So maybe for DFS he could be a playable. I'd be interested to see like his stocks prop, what it looks like for Tuesday. But Smart's an okay option at 5,900. I don't think I'm really considering anyone else on Boston though. Again, it is a back-to-back for the Celtics, so we'll have to keep an eye on their injury report. See who's actually in and out. But outside of like Tatum, Brown, and maybe Smart, the rest of these Celtics guys, I don't think I'm going to. Even if Blake Griffin starts at center again, don't love this matchup against Anthony Davis. The minutes haven't been that great for Griffin either, even in games he started. He just really hasn't shown much upside. So yeah, that's it for that game, and that's it for the 5 games on Tuesday night. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, appreciate you guys watching these DFS videos. Hit that like button if you guys did enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, if you're new to the channel, go check out the sponsor of the video, Prize Picks. Go sign up for Prize Picks and use promo code NOAH. Look at the bottom of the screen, or click the link in the description. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Appreciate you watching. As always, we will see you guys in the next one. Best of luck tonight. Peace.